Good evening, my brothers. I'm coming at you with an impromptu video. I normally reserve my videos for the weekends now, but I just feel like I need to get this out. Over the course of the last 3, maybe 4 years, I've been incredibly critical of Dak. I have I've scrutinized him to the utmost degree over the last few years. But this season has been spectacular for Dak Prescott. He's won me over this season. And the reason why I mention that is because we don't have a running game to speak of. Tony Pollard hasn't even hit 1,000 yards yet, and it's about to be his 17th game. He's only had one 100-yard rushing game. We have no running game to speak of. The offensive line is constantly in flux because of injuries, especially Tyron Smith, who needs to go. Now we have Tyler Smith tearing his plantar fascia. We've had Chuma Edoga in there. He's a turnstile. Terrence Steele is the ultimate turnstile. The only constant and consistent player that we've had on the offensive line is Zach Martin. Tyler Smith has been pretty good this season, but the constant has been Zach Martin. And then you look at the receiving corps. CeeDee Lamb is having one hell of a season. His numbers are pretty much identical to Tyreek Hill's. And Tyreek Hill has been an MVP. He's been in the MVP discussion all season. But other than CeeDee Lamb, what else is there? Brandon Cooks is okay. Jake Ferguson is okay. But are any of those guys Brandon Ayuk? Are any of those guys Deebo Samuel or George Kittle? Are any of those guys Puka Nacua? Are any of those guys Amon-Ra St. Brown? I can just keep going down the list. They're serviceable. They're okay. But they're nothing. Are they Jalen Waddle? Are they Jalen Waddle? So if you look at the level of difficulty that Dak Prescott is, that the way he's playing, the level of difficulty is sky high. He only has one reliable weapon in CeeDee Lamb. He doesn't have a run game to lean on. He can't hand the ball off to Christian McCaffrey. He can't hand the ball off to Gus Edwards. How many touchdowns does Gus Edwards have? Like 13? I wish we had a Gus Edwards where we can punch it in from the 5-yard line every fucking time. I wish we had that. That'd be nice. It'd be nice if Dak Prescott had a top-flight defense. Now, of course, people go, you got Micah Parsons, you have Deron Bland. We have no linebackers to speak of. We have to play safeties at linebacker. The run defense is terrible. The only thing we really have is a pass rush. Stephon Gilmore is okay. Deron Bland is okay, even though he leads the league in interceptions and pick sixes. Deron Bland is still okay. He's not better than Trayvon Diggs or Stephon Gilmore. And this defense is susceptible, of course, to the run game, and they allow teams to get away with chunk plays. They like to play soft. They like to play man-to-man. And it bites us in the ass a lot. So Dak Prescott doesn't have the defense that Lamar Jackson has. He doesn't have the weapons that Brock Purdy has. He doesn't have any of that. Dak Prescott is essentially doing this on his own. Of course, he has CeeDee Lamb, but other than that, He's doing this on his own. Why did my PS3 turn on automatic? Why did it do that? I didn't turn this shit on. But, fuck it. So, Dak Prescott leads the league in touchdown passes. He's top 4 in almost every quarterback statistic. And yet he gets disrespected. And you know what? I play a role in that. Sometimes, even though I'm approaching 17,000 subscribers, sometimes I feel like content creators like myself and others who are critical of Dak, and of course you got the media, we're the reason why Dak has such a tarnished name now. And I apologize for that. I really do. If you ever, you're probably never going to see this, but if you see this, I apologize for everything I've said over the years to you. You've obviously been through a lot personal-wise, and even dealing with all of that shit, you still come out on top like this. If it wasn't for you, there's no fucking way we would be in the driver's seat of the NFC East. There's no fucking way we would be on the precipice of 12 wins. There's no fucking way. We would be fighting for our lives for a playoff spot. To be quite honest, you know what? I take that back. I think we will be a 6-7 win team without Dak Prescott this season. Because even though I was Cooper Rush's biggest fan last season, the numbers don't lie. The offense simply wasn't the same when he was leading the charge. It wasn't. CeeDee Lamb's numbers wasn't the same when Cooper Rush was leading the charge. And I like Trey Lance. I do. But there's no fucking way he would have came in and is doing what Dak Prescott is doing. This season alone has shifted my perspective on Dak Prescott. It has. And he deserves MVP. The level of difficulty, he doesn't have the same resources as Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson or Tua Tagovailoa. He doesn't have those resources at all. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. He doesn't have a top-flight defense like Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have the plethora. He doesn't have the fucking Avengers like Brock Purdy has. George Kittle is over 1,000. Brandon Ayuk is over 1,000. CMC has over 1,500 rushing yards. Then, of course, you got Deebo Samuel. You got Trent Williams as your left tackle. Dak Prescott is doing this on his own, and he deserves the MVP. He has the numbers. He has the wins. He's going to have 12 wins. He's going to win the NFC East, and he's going to be second in the NFC. The wins, the number 2 seed, he has it all. So you can't hold that against him. You just can't. This is the most passionate I've been since Dak's rookie season. Just seeing what he's doing out there. He deserves this. He deserves MVP. And it just infuriates me now. And I look back on what I've said about him, and I just cringe now. But when I see Shady McCoy, Bart Scott, when I see these lame-ass cornballs talking all this shit, talking greasy about Dak Prescott, it just makes me upset, man. And of course they're haters, but it's like it's personal for them. When Keyshawn, when he criticized the Cowboys, you can always tell that Keyshawn is not talking from a place of malice. He's just trying to balance out Skip and Michael Irvin, and Keyshawn makes a lot of great points. You can't really argue against him. You can't hate Keyshawn. But when you look at Shady McCoy, when you look at Bart Scott, when you look at even like Chris Broussard at times, even Wilds, I don't like Wilds. A lot of people like him. I don't. I think he says a lot of shady shit about the Cowboys. He's a Patriots fan too, so fuck him. But when you see these analysts talking greasy about Dak Prescott, it just makes you frustrated because none of it is based, it's just not based on truth. If we're talking about this season alone, Dak Prescott is the clear MVP. And he's carried this team on his back. And he is the best player on this team. This season, he's the best player on this team. Listen, I know people want to go Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin even. I get that, but no. No. Dak Prescott is the most impactful player on the team. He plays the most impactful position. And he's the best at that position. So how can he not be the best player on the team? Doesn't make sense. It will be a travesty if they give the MVP award to Lamar Jackson. I understand he had a breakout game against the 49ers. I understand he's beaten a lot of competition, but a lot of that attributes to his defense. And when you look at his numbers, his passing stats are just simply middle-of-the-pack pedestrian stats. If he gets the MVP award, it'll be a travesty. And the mystique of the MVP award has dwindled down over the past few years anyway because it's basically a quarterback award. But if we're going to acknowledge that it's a quarterback award, why not give it to the best quarterback with the best stats? Dak has the stats. He passes the eye test. The level of difficulty is the highest for him because he doesn't have what these other quarterbacks have. He has the wins. He has the division crown, presumptively. Dak Prescott deserves the MVP award this season. And if they don't give it to him, what more can he do? What more can he do? Because it's a regular season award. People are going to say, oh, he needs to do this in the playoffs. It's a regular season award. He's done what he's done what he has to do in the regular season. He has the wins, the stats. He did everything that he could possibly do with the level of difficulty. You take away Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams, you take away them, Brock Purdy is indistinguishable from Jimmy G. When you take away the defense from the Baltimore Ravens, you don't even have to go that far. Look what happened last year. Tyler Huntley, the backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens last season, almost beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Dak Prescott should win the MVP. And if we secure the second seed, Dak Prescott will make the NFC Championship game. We're incredible at home. I just don't see anyone beating us when we're in our place. I just don't. But brothers, I'm glad I got this off my chest. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I just had to get it off my chest. All right, my brothers. I'll catch y'all on Sunday. Peace.